Welcome to Riverbend Talon on WBGZ. Brought to you by the Halpin Music Company.
Another Thursday night, another sea shanty sing-along underway down at Morrison's Irish Pub on a Thursday night. It's Riverbend Talent, brought to you by the Halpin Music Company and Mr. Matt Van Voorhis of Macias Insurance. The Saloon-a-Tech's already underway at Fast Eddie's until 10 o'clock. We got the open mic with Scotty the Hottie. Space Wolf Miller at the Conservatory tonight. We got comedy tonight starring Steve Sabo, co-starring Scott Putman. Out at Baker's and Hale, trying something new out there. 7 o'clock show for that. Duke Tomato playing the Wild E tonight at 7:30. Josh Witt and Jared Unfree, they're doing the Stagger in again tonight from 7 to 10. Butch Moore already underway at Peel Woodfire Pizza in Edwardsville. Zach Rayner underway at the Cabin at Judy Creek in Glen Carbon. And that Hungarian Joey Miner, he's already underway at the Prairie Inn in Dorsey until 8:30. And he might have thought he left us forever, but he is back. The legendary father of our video producer, Lydia Copeland.
Yeah, I finally did something right.
It seems like it's been a while, huh?
Well, this feels weird. I feel awkward in here.
You missed a good one last week.
What, man? I can't.
Gordon Loveboat.
Oh, yeah, Gordon Loveboat. That's right.
We had a good time.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and watch the video. I've been down south, man, but it was an odd thing. As I left to head down to New Orleans, it just kept getting colder. The farther south, when I left, the day I left, it was like 70 here. And it is odd to drive south and keep feeling colder. It's not why I do that. But it was a good time, good to be back. I guess it's been since before Christmas, huh? Man.
Well, 3 weeks, but we're not counting.
Yeah, well, I'm nervous.
I
don't know what to do with my hands, mainly.
Thursdays were an important day at the end of last year, and apparently holidays and all that stuff fell on Thursdays.
Everything fell on it, yeah.
But the big miss was last week. I'm telling you, man, you would have liked Gordon.
Yeah, I enjoyed talking to him on the phone. Yeah. Looking forward to meeting him, but yes.
I was kind of glad you were gone because it gave me a chance to talk to him. Well,
look, I can try to shut up. It's just not going to happen. I was.
Well, I'm going to relax tonight. I'm going to relax tonight again. Yeah. So it'll be nice.
I'm feeling pretty relaxed right now. I'm feeling more like myself now than I did earlier today.
I'm feeling better now that I've given you a hard time.
Well,
I feel normal.
I'm back.
Yes.
For better or ill.
The man behind the mask.
And tonight.
Yes.
We have on the show a gentleman that I have tried to get on the show, and he's just like, no, your show sucks, man. I'm not going to go. No, we have seriously, we've tried to get Benji from A Brighter Side on a couple of times, and that just scheduling conflicts never quite worked out. However, debut here on the show, the band A Brighter Side, or at least two of the members. So we got Benji. How you doing there?
I'm very well.
Lean on into that there microphone and get to know it a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Like,
hello.
Oh,
there you go. Yeah.
Whatever you got to do, just, be friendly.
Yeah, I gotcha.
No, there you go. I can hear you great now. So, Mr. Benji, good to meet you, man. Well, this is the first time we get to finally meet face to face.
Thank you so much again.
Yeah, you're way better looking than I thought. I just pictured you ugly as sin, man. It makes me feel better about myself to picture everybody that way in the beginning.
Oh, yeah. Set the bar right.
Now I'm feeling ugly.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about A Brighter Side here.
So Brighter Side is kind of my baby, It's songs collectively that I've written, about my life and just everything around me over the last 15 years or so. I've kind of found their songs too, like 'cause I've played music most of my life, but this collection of songs where I kind of found my voice and stuff. Took finding different influences around town and, coming from my metal roots, and then again finding my voice and, now at this point being able to kind of make it something unique with bringing like the reggae and alternative indie rock vibe to it, especially like with having a full band now and everything. It's fucking rocking. So.
Well, you take those heavy roots where we all kind of start with that 3 chords and the truth screaming as loud as we can, punk rock, and then we all end up mixing it up with everything until it finally turns into jazz and nobody cares anymore except us. But
well, I guess I feel like I kind of worked backwards because I was, starting out with metal, like I was just riffing all the time.
Yeah.
And then I found reggae. Now it's like now I have my 3-chord thing that like my brain can do that and sing, and like talk about stuff. So.
And to, on one hand, you hear that to jump from metal to reggae without a lot of in-between steps, it seems odd, but I'll be honest, when I met my wife now, and when I first met her, we were both metalheads. We we're seeing each other at Soulfly shows and Pantera and whatever. And whenever I went to turn her on to something new, the first thing I gave her was Bob Marley.
Oh yeah.
And I thought, well, you got to give a selling point. So I'm like, this is the sexiest album ever made. Yeah. And how can you not listen to it when somebody says that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And she was immediately a lover of Bob Marley, and now it's like she's gone every direction, like as a person well should.
Yeah, yeah.
But that is an odd jump to go straight from heavy to.
Well, again, it was the definitely the influences, and like Sean and Aaron came in the One Drops, like seeing those guys was a huge thing, especially on a local level, and what energy they do bring, like I felt like I was at a rock show, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then I'm like moved so much by the words and like how I'm like, oh my gosh, it was a lot at that time. And then, that I was also like getting really into 311 and, having more respect to Sublime and stuff like that. And then it was just like I was listening to Jack Johnson and learned Banana Pancakes, and then I just like found my own voicing of a couple chords, and that was like, then I wrote some words to it, and
suddenly you're making banana pancakes.
Yeah, basically, or my own version of it, at least,
Well, look, not many people are out there reinventing the wheel.
Oh,
We're just reshaping it ever so slightly.
Yeah.
There's only, in Western music, we got 12 notes to chase around.
Yeah.
Unless you're going over to the East to find 72 notes.
Yeah.
Or you're working in microtones, which, not many do. To find your own voice, you brought up a couple things I want to touch on. First of all, talking about your songs and saying, it's a collaboration of 15 years, but there was a lot of stuff. It took a while to find.
Yeah.
I try to tell young kids, and I've got one that I've been working with lately, Spencer, if you're listening. You got to write 1,000 bad songs before you come up with one good line.
Yeah.
Quit waiting around thinking that if you wait long enough, you're going to write a good song.
Yeah.
That's not how it works, kids. Start writing now, write every day, and maybe one day you'll write one cool thing.
Absolutely.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So, the other thing I want to touch on that you brought up is Sean. You mentioned Sean from Aaron Cam and the One Drops, and I hear he's playing with another band these days.
Yeah.
Could it be a brighter side?
Yep.
It could
we have
be.
a few gigs here and there. Yeah.
Welcome to the show, Sean. This is the
thank you.
Your debut on the show also.
I think so.
I think we've tried to get when Aaron Cam played, when you guys played up at the at Round, that weird little place up
Yeah,
here.
the city park up here,
Rotary
yeah.
Park. I tried to get you guys that time, but there's always conflicts because most bands are playing Thursday night, or that's their
For sure.
practice night, or whatever. And talking about the music is nothing compared to playing the music. So, it's always like, do your thing. When you guys came back and we did the show down at Jacoby's with you down there. I tried to, but again, hard to track you guys down whenever it's.
Yeah, but we've crossed paths several times.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Sure.
Well, I'm glad we're able to finally lock it in.
Yeah. We bumped around each other, down at the Mineral Springs Mall. I think you played at one of the Happy Trails, and we were doing sang a few times, and then finally you get to know someone where it's not just another face you're crossing.
Yeah.
What's up, man?
Yeah. So behind the scenes, for sure.
Yeah. And man, I will say this. Benji was talking about seeing you guys and your energy on a local level. I've seen Aaron Cam and the One Drops many times, and it's just like the Grateful Dead. Certain shows just hit you a little harder than others. And the very last time I saw you guys down at Jacoby's, it was a great show. Aaron, his finger picking and his guitar. There was something about what he was putting out that
For
day.
sure,
That
yeah.
what he was laying down, I was picking up that night.
Yeah, man.
And the band as a whole, really. But,
Yeah.
but I could, like, he hit me that night, and you guys played some different stuff, too, that night that I was less familiar material, I guess. But anyway, glad to have you on the show, my man.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So you are the percussionist in a brighter side now?
I'm the drum set player, yeah.
The drum set
Well, we have
player.
because we have a percussionist as well.
Oh, okay.
You know,
There
he
you go.
plays hand drums, and Tim plays hand drums and auxiliary percussion and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm holding down the drums and the cymbals.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
The kit, we'll call
Yes,
it.
yeah.
You got the kit. Benji, you singing, obviously, playing guitar.
Yes, sir.
Playing guitar.
Yeah, play guitar and sing.
And you got Tim as your percussionist. Who else we missing?
Yeah, we got Tim Barons, and then Jesse Cruzen. He's played in bands around town like Circo and stuff. But,
Okay.
Yeah.
Those guys got me. The first time
Yeah.
I had them, I ended up having them play at a festival I was doing called Family Fest.
Oh, yeah.
And had them play twice, I think. But the first night I saw them was over at the Pavilion, the bootleg, inside.
Oh, yeah.
And they did a lot like Dennis's band Cottonmouth used to do, where they had the big the projectors shooting up, and I was just psychedelicized enough that I was like, oh, I like these guys.
No, that band was awesome. Those were all dudes that I went to high school with and stuff. And then Jesse comes apart like.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then,
the projection stuff. That's right. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Because they did the. I remember one night I actually was partying with them and like I got to do that. You know,
The
like,
oil?
manipulate the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so cool.
So the night I saw them, they had a video going of like just weirdness, and then over the top of that, like the liquid oil.
Yeah.
You know, the water and oil going on, and I'm like,
Yeah, it's like.
I'm in a mental candy land at this
Yeah,
point,
right.
you know. So, yeah, so that's cool. Who else other than Tim and Jesse?
Then we got our buddy Jesse Pollard, who is. He's not necessarily an official member yet, but he is also like a huge part of everything.
Lean into the mic. Just
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
So yeah, we have. He's been doing all of our video stuff, and he's actually contributing to the album as well. Doing like synth stuff and just kind of some atmospheric.
Nice.
You know, bringing a different.
Layers, yeah.
Yeah, different layer to the album, and just another friend that I've known for years, and you know he's actually going to be playing with us on the next couple shows. So yeah, hopefully.
So do you
soon.
make him go by a different name, or is it like Jesse 1 and Jesse 2, Jesse A?
Oh,
and B,
actually,
or-
it's Jesse and Uncle Jesse.
I like it.
Because Uncle Jesse, he's been a friend so long. He's really good friends with my kids and stuff too. So it makes it.
Looks like them Dukes boys are in a stickier situation than a plate of molasses. I don't know. I'm trying to do a good Waylon Jennings. It didn't work out.
I thought you meant like Uncle Jesse from Full House.
See, I was going with
Jesse and the Rippers. Yeah.
Jesse and the Rippers. And now, ladies and gentlemen, John Stamos' older brother Richard. No.
Dude, that actually was awesome though. He's actually a part of the Beach Boys and stuff.
Yeah,
Or, like
right,
he's
right.
like an unofficial
Right.
member of the Beach Boys.
So was
That's
Charles
awesome.
Manson, though. So you know, I'm just saying. Let's just say Uncle Jesse's in the same category with Charlie Manson. You know, whether he likes it or not. Take that, John Stamos.
That's
You know,
awesome.
and meanwhile, what's her name? Rebecca Romaine. I forget the girl's name that played his wife on there.
Low man.
Becky.
Oh yeah,
I don't remember her actual
she
name.
was beautiful, and the chubby kid off Stand By Me ends up marrying her. How does this? Where's my life going wrong?
Oh,
I'm just
wow.
Kidding. I'm just kidding. I mean, no, that's real. I think he really did marry her.
Oh, really?
But,
I think he actually turned out pretty well later in life.
yeah, you know, for
He
some
wasn't always just the chubby kid from.
right, he ended up being somebody's.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm talking
Look,
about.
Ma, I made it.
Right. Let's get back to what's going on with you guys. Jesse from Circle, I guess, bass player, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And then what is the other Jesse? I forgot
Yeah,
his name.
Uncle Jesse.
Jesse. What
He's
is
like
he
our
going to play
keys-
with you? Okay.
Keys,
There you
synth.
go.
and-
Nice.
Yep.
Nice. And so you guys are playing tomorrow night.
Yes, tomorrow night we're over at Doits Village Inn.
Nice.
We play from 8:30 to 12:30. It's our debut there, which is really exciting. I've gone up there a couple times and seen some buddies' bands and stuff. And then there's actually one night I was up there seeing this guy Scott, or I was just hanging out with some buddies, and I see this guy and I hear his voice, and I'm just absolutely put off. I'm like, holy crap, like he blew me away, Well, then we're just all drinking and stuff, and I was just like, oh, that'd be cool if you let me go up and play a couple of songs during the set break, and I'm just saying that hypothetically, and then like I go and like order a drink from the bar, and then one of our friends comes back and he's like, hey, you said it was cool. I was like, oh, God. So it's kind of on the spot. And then he's literally like, yeah, Benji, come on up. Well, then I got a chance to play a couple songs, just acoustic, and everybody was like,
nice.
Oh, yeah. So it was.
Next thing you know, you're invited back.
Yeah. And that's very exciting. So
I'm going to guess that to be Scott Marlin, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that who it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, he's a ripper.
Yeah,
man.
Scott Marlin, yes. Yeah,
Scott
absolutely,
Marlin's a ripper, man.
Yeah, he blew me away, honestly.
Handsome gentleman, too, let's say that.
Mr. Sticks tribute.
Dude.
Yep.
He was part of that Meatwood Flack tribute,
That's right.
too, which, what a great name, Meatwood Flack.
I think I saw the Marlin Band do some Rush sometime, too.
Yep, for sure. Triumph, songs like that. That's Blue Marlin.
Blue Marlin,
another band he's part of.
Yeah, his son's band is a part of the Road to Pointfest as well.
Right.
And their band's name is A Rather Bright Light. A Rather Bright Light. And that was a conversation we had that night. He's like, oh, you're a brighter side? He's like, my son's band's name is A Rather Bright Light. That's crazy.
And then he has a band with his son called D's Notes.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
D-E-E-Z, I believe they spell it. D's Notes. So, there you go. So then, after you played Doits on Friday, heading across the pond there, across the river, doing Pointfest.
Yeah, well, no.
You don't have to cross a river. It's in Sauget,
Oh,
baby.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
Acting like you've never been to the strip club. Come on. And
I haven't been. Not since I got married, I promise. Hey,
there's a dispensary
don't call
next.
Tonight.
There's a dispensary there, too.
Dude, a dispensary inside of a strip club.
Not inside.
I'm like, this is the greatest
and
thing
then
ever, baby.
Everything you need's right there now.
It's a one-stop shop. One of the greatest one-stop shops I ever saw that in my mind when I looked at the sign was in Keystone, Colorado, and it was a liquor store, a gun store, and a bail bond store all in one building. Like, you give me a bunch of liquor and a gun, and go ahead and put some money down for later. I'm gonna cause some trouble. So you guys playing over at Sauget, we'll call it.
Yeah. Good old Sauget.
Good old Sauget. And God knows what time you play because nobody knows what time it is in that place.
Yeah.
There are no clocks allowed in that place.
We don't really find out until 4 o'clock when we go turn the tickets in and stuff, because this is just the first round, or session 5 of the first round. So
but the show starts at like 7, I think. Or?
Yeah. Doors are at 6:30.
Nice.
Show at 7.
Now, if I remember right, though, and I believe this was last year, we had a conversation with one of the Pointfest bands where a lot of these kind of competitions, they go strictly on ticket sales. Oh yeah, my grandma bought 40 tickets.
Yeah,
she's not going to come, but she bought 40 tickets, so we win, we play last. You know, and I believe if I remember right, somebody said they take that as in consideration. How many tickets do you sell? One piece of consideration. It's also multiple other aspects that they throw in there, which I like that idea.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's very exciting because there's like 6 different categories. It's it is ticket sales is one of them, of course, and then like ticket sales goes off what basically creates the set list. So whoever sells the most, they get to pick their slot. And then so on. So even those people who sell the second, it's not like they get stuck somewhere. They get to pick their spot too, and so on. But
then the final judging.
So that's also it's tickets. Then it's the bodies. The crowd participation as well, crowd interaction, stage presence, professionalism. So
not playing overtime or undertime.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because you get fined in a real situation for that. You've signed contracts, go a minute over, it's going to cost you $100. you can't blame the venues because, after bands like the Grateful Dead came through and did 6-hour shows and everybody wants to go home that's trying to sell hot dogs or whatever.
Grilled cheese.
Yeah. Nobody wants to go home once they get hit with the old water gun,
Yeah.
But,
I don't think they can go home.
Right. I can't find my way home, man. Just blind face said it, man. So
You're already there.
Right. It never felt so home as the first deadline I strolled upon. I'm like, wow, finally found some people that are just as weird as me. Who knew? But, this, to me, I started throwing festivals because I never liked Battle of the Bands. And we, in the late 80s and the 90s, that's all there was around here.
Battle of the Bands.
And it's so like, can't we just get together and party without like, oh, I'm better than you, man.
Yeah.
But in this situation with the Pointfest, it's a little different. They got to narrow this down.
Yeah.
To who gets to come play Pointfest, and I believe one band gets on the main stage maybe, and then some other bands get on the other stage.
So I was looking at it. I'm not 100% about like opening the main stage, but there is the 2 side stages, which are like the 2 main side stages, and then they have a pop stage that's kind of like a little kind of off the side, a little smaller, I guess. But I mean, really, any chance to play is, we'll play in the fucking parking lot for all we care, Oh, sorry. Oh.
What?
My bad.
In the parking lot.
So
this is seriously playing in the parking lot's where it's at, man. When I was on Dead Tour, if I would have had a band that was good enough, we would have been playing every parking lot.
Right.
But the band I was in was horrible, and so it just didn't make any sense. I saw several bands do that and even still, a lot of bands do this sort of stuff, but they would go out and you would see certain bands on the West Coast or on the East Coast that they're there at every show. They set up early and play to the parking lot.
Yeah.
And that's bigger than getting in the show to them because this is you got 100,000 people in this parking lot. Sure, only 20 of them are in front of your band right now, but that's 20 people that stopped. I mean, you see bands doing that sort of stuff, like Billy Strings goes on tour. There was a band out of Arkansas, Eureka Springs. So they set up after shows and follow Billy around, 5-6 cities and do these after shows. Yeah. What a great way to come up with an audience.
Yeah, right.
It's playing. That's the thing about playing festivals. It's not just people coming to see you. It's people coming to see all these bands. And you get a chance to play to their people.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. To me, that's the beauty of multiple bands playing together, is bringing everybody together for one big party.
One of my favorite things is what, Perfect Circle, Primus, and Pussifer did. They did that Sasanta tour, and it was like the 3 bands, and then they each did... one band did 3 songs, the next band did 3 songs, the next band did 3 songs.
Back around.
Then they just went, and that was the whole show, it was just like, this is perfect. People aren't showing up late to see only that band. It looks like, we've been trying to conjure something up to try to do like some sort of Sasanta STL ourselves, and
man, Primus didn't even play the South Park song.
Yeah.
Just trying to figure out what some people might say.
Yeah, right.
They're just the kind of people that go just to see Primus and not want to see a Perfect Circle.
Right.
No. Who else you got? Tool, or who else was on that? Like, I can't.
It was a Perfect Circle, Primus, and Pussifer. So it was Maynard's other
man. And what a great idea of not exactly the same energy, but I went to see Merle Haggard and Chris Christopherson, and it wasn't announced who's playing first, and the whole way you're going, I don't care who plays first. They sat next to each other on a bar stools and traded songs all night.
Oh, wow.
And it was just one long show, and I'm like, this is cool.
Yeah,
They're just like, they had one band behind them. It's like, what do you want to do now? Oh, I don't know. What do you feel like? And they just,
That's so cool.
Yeah, when you see a show laid back like that, where it's just guys up there doing their thing, you know. I could never pull that off. I would always hear the Grateful Dead, oh, we don't make a set list. How do you remember what you played 10 minutes ago?
Yeah.
Like, how do you not just play the same song 3 times? Yeah. Because I can't remember what we started with.
Yeah.
It's more a memory machine than anything. So, you guys, is this your first time playing the Pointfest? Road to Pointfest?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, so like I said, I've been playing the songs around town and stuff for 10 plus years, and we had a drummer at one point, and then I've been doing acoustically for years, just keeping it going. And then once we got started in the studio, or once that idea came up, that's when we approached Rayla with the idea, and he was on board literally before I even finished. Is that cool? He was like, yes.
Yeah.
I
So
said
was
I'm
like,
in. Stop talking.
Okay, cool.
Quit trying to sell what you've already sold, man.
Yeah, I'm down, Benji.
I'm like,
Yeah,
sure don't want to
I
pay
like your attitude.
Yeah, man.
All right, so let's jump into that before we really get into where it's recorded and how you go about your process and everything. Let's just go ahead and hear a track real quick. How about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So this is
I don't know which one he's got queued up over there, but he's got a couple.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same one I had queued up last time.
Oh.
Live It.
Yeah.
Live it long.
Live It
Yeah.
Long.
So these songs are they are work in progress right now. We've only got a couple mixing sessions left, but we're really excited to share it, and this has seemed like a perfect opportunity to give some people a little sneak peek of what we've been working on.
So this is actually an unfinished product at this point. It still might get tweaked a little more from here.
As far as mixing, yes.
As far as not as far as recording.
Yep.
But as far as mixing. Okay.
Yep. With the mixing master's all we got to do.
Look at that. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity here.
Yeah.
This is like the
As fresh
first
as
time
it
we
gets.
started a band fight right on on the show. We've had like 5 band fights on this show. I provoked them all. All right, so let's hear this. This is A Brighter Side, and the song is Live It Long.
Yes, sir.
Let's hear it.
Tell me what you see, some sensible direction. Could you rub some off on me? Cause I don't see sides, just a certain shade of green to justify perspective. So is that really what you mean? If I could provide the math to all my means, well, 2 and 2 make 4, but you and I puts me at ease. So please don't be shy, debate the life you lead and find a sense of purpose, one you never thought could be. Yes, it takes me back again to a place I've never been before. Be sure, my friends, that life is love, so live it long. Yes, life is love, so live it long. Yes, life is love, so live it long. Yes, life is love, so live it long. Take some time to breathe, communicate your needs. Can't lead the blind to water and expect them not to sink. May I kindly remind you of who we really be, connected to a source, one that's only seen in dreams. So don't hide behind the sheets of hate and greed, the poisons all our trust of what is truly you and me. So let's climb inside, just watch your hands and knees. There's room for everyone to go wherever you may please. As it takes me back again to a place I've never been before. Be sure, my friends, that life is love, so live it long. Yes, 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 life is love, so live it long. Live it long, live it long. Yes, life is love, so live it long. Live it long, live it long. Yes, life is love, so live it long. Yes, life is love, so live it long. Yes, life is love, so live it long.
All right, nice.
Thank you.
I was just commenting as we were listening to it that right off the bat I could hear like the Sublime, and then suddenly I started hearing that Jack Johnson influence in there, and Jack's cool, man.
Oh yeah, he's a cool cat.
I would eat his banana pancakes if he made me some. If he was like, I'll make you, because I had Prince make me pancakes once. No, he was in a purple blouse and he just kicked my butt in basketball. No,
Blouses.
Let's just say, how horrible would it be to be in Prince's banks? No matter what instrument you play, he's 10 times better.
Oh man,
doesn't matter what you're playing. That dude's like, give me that. I'm gonna show you how I want it done. I said, give it to me, man. That was great, man. So let's get into the recording and where did you record this project at?
Over at Nate Hershey. Does he have a name of it?
I think he just goes by Nate Hershey Productions.
Oh, Nate Hershey Productions. So Sean, tell me.
Yes.
How did this happen? How does this go about?
Yeah. So I play as we were talking about. I play with Aaron Cam and the One Drops. I play with Brighter Side. Play with a couple other groups around town. I play with Sean Cannon's Voodoo Players. I do the Bob Marley Band with them, and I play with Fleetwood and Family.
Nice.
Here and there, and Nate Hershey is a keyboardist from around town, and he plays with like Big Mike, and he's in like several of the voodoo bands.
Andy Coco. Right?
Yeah, he plays with like Andy.
The Rhythm Reviews.
Yeah.
I like Andy.
And so Nate's just an amazing resource and player, and he has his own recording studio as well. He's an amazing engineer, and just top of the line recording studio that he's got. It's kind of like a little resort. He's got a in-ground pool and a lounge with a bar and a pool table and several live tracking rooms, and the whole experience has been great.
This guy sounds cool.
Kind of bringing it to life. And it all worked out, in its own way. We were originally going a different direction with a different studio that just, kind of naturally didn't work out as well, and we ended up it just time-wise and everything, getting to know Nate. When I was playing with him with the Voodoo Players, he was like, "Hey man, you got to come check out my studio." And that was like right at the same time that the original studio session with Benji was not working out. And I was like, "Hey man, we should maybe check out this studio, since that one kind of didn't work out." And it's just been magic ever since,
So it's not it's sort of a private studio. It's not so
Right.
much open to the public. We're not going to find him in the yellow pages if that even exists anymore.
You might be able to find him on Google out there. I know he definitely is open for business.
Is he? Okay.
And but it is in his house. But his basement is completely set up separate from his living situation, and
Nice.
he's designed it to be somewhat of a recording destination resort for artists to potentially come and stay for several days, weeks, whatever it is, while they make their records.
That's awesome.
It's been a really comfortable place to make an album.
Oh yeah.
See, but then I hate to tell Nate this, but one of these days he's going to let somebody like me in. It's hard to evict a guy.
Yeah.
Like, if you know the laws. Like, he's not getting rid of
Squatters'
me.
rights.
Oh, dude. Yeah, my wife's angry. I claim squatters' rights. It's like, you can't get rid of me now. You can say you divorced me 3 times in a row. It doesn't mean nothing. No. Anyway.
No comment.
Oh man, so there you go, Nate Hershey. So you guys go in over there and you're sort of doing a live recording. Is everyone jamming live but tracking it out, or is it more like a skeleton? We lay this drums down and then start overlaying tracks.
Yeah, well, Benji's had the songs together for a long time, and even when Benji was first starting to take on this project of his own, I think I heard some of the first pieces of that, and at the time I was really busy with Aaron Cam and the One Drops, so that was kind of like my main focus. I really wasn't playing with a lot of other bands. Now we're not as busy, that band is not as busy, so I'm really trying to focus on playing with all my friends, and this is a great opportunity to catch up with Benji and get these songs going.
Yeah. No, it's been very very humbling as well, like, because like you said, like, these guys have been such a huge inspiration, period. And so like how we even know each other is our Haney, who's like used to work or works with these guys and stuff. that's one of my childhood friends basically, and played in different bands together. Well, then when I found my voice in that period, there was a time these guys were playing at Lake of the Ozarks, and like I had my guitar down there, and they played 2 nights in a row, and we were partying after the first night, and I was like, hey, you guys want to check a couple of these songs out that I wrote? And I only had like 3 at the time, and then like was covering some Sublime and stuff like that, and yeah, like that's what's really cool is, you know, I'm like sitting there showing Sean these songs, and he's like, Benji, like what? Why have you not shown?
I had no idea you had this in you.
Yeah. And then,
where did this come from?
And now here we are, like, you know.
So yeah, it's like
years later, and one of the songs is like one of those 3 songs that I showed him at that time. You know,
Nice.
It's like it's really. Yeah.
So going back to the like how that all ties in with the recording session is like I've been kind of alongside this group the whole time, you know.
Yeah.
Jeff, the drummer that was with them before, amazing drummer.
Yeah.
Love his playing.
Jeff Kelly.
Yeah. And you know, saw it bring the music to life, you know, a little bit. And so I've kind of been a part of hearing the songs as they evolve and everything like that. So when it came to recording in the studio, it's kind of a natural process.
Yeah. You know? Oh yeah, that's what was really amazing, you know, because and why we also went to Sean too is like, you know, it's like this is how I want the songs to be portrayed, you know, like this energy behind them. I mean, I love doing it acoustically, but to be on a mass level, like this is how it's really going on in my head, you know. And so it's like, okay, I finally buckled down, like we're gonna record, and it's like I don't want to keep trying drummers out and stuff, you know. So it was like maybe Ray will maybe down to at least record with us. So then we just set the bar. Now it's not. Now there's no more trying drummers out. Now it's like, can you do this? Yes or no? Or, you know, like. And then through that, you know, it's like there were a couple shows came up and he was available, and now it's just kind of turned into like a little more, you know, togetherness with it all, and it's been awesome.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. And so back to the studio. Are you tracking it out?
Oh, so yeah. Like we initially went in and did like a live recording with all the instruments.
Right.
I just kind of did a scratch vocal with everything, and then we've gone in and kind of
we laid down the rhythm tracks and then overdubbed, you know, the guitars and vocals and polished everything up really nice.
Yep.
Nice. Well, and I'm always curious about that, you know, because there's the live recording. We're all playing at the same time, and hey, what we get. We might go back and redo the vocals or something.
Yeah.
But, you know, and then there's, you know, there's the guys who strictly start with a metronome. Let's put the drums down. And it sounds like you're the hybrid of the in between there.
It was actually absolutely a hybrid, because what we did is like I'm like terrible with that stuff. Like I'm just like a feel guy, and then, you know, so what we did is like we just had the metronome in Rayla's ears, and he was our metronome, you know. So it was like really live for us, but he had something that. So now
I'll bring the click to you guys.
Yeah.
You guys don't worry about that. It's my job.
Yeah, and that's one of those that in my mind I go back and forth on, because I've seen bands where the guy's got the click in his ears and it's almost too much of a machine. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, you didn't mess up once, dude.
Yeah.
And then you know, there's other guys who don't use a click, and they're you know, one time you play it, it's this speed, and the next time you play it, it's, you know, this, and that's okay too. There's not, you know, it's a little, but there's more of a human feel aspect to it.
Right, music breathes a little bit. Yeah.
Years ago, back in the '90s, I went and saw Fragile Porcelain play up at their loft in Belleville, and their drummer at the time would put in like headphones or an ear with a click track, start the song, and then pull it out, where it would set him on time.
Gotcha.
You know, but then he'd get rid of it to give it more of the human feel. How hard is that to play? Like I mean, I don't normally talk to people who don't sleep with a metronome in their head because they just bore me. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, but seriously, like I've talked to people about this. Like, to me, even like a difference between a boom bop boom, there's an up and a down beat. When it's just tick 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 tick, somehow I just start listening to the ticks and I get lost.
Yeah.
Right.
How do you separate your mind from what you're doing in the moment, but yet
It takes practice.
Yeah. See,
for sure.
This is why I still suck after all these years. I never practiced. All my friends practiced. I never did.
Yeah, and now you know where the negative side of it comes. If he can't do it, then I don't really like it. But I'll tell you something. It really matters what style of music you're playing too.
Yeah,
because seriously, like metal bands should be using click tracks because all those stops and all that stuff it matters a lot in that style of music. Reggae maybe a little looser, or do you think it's important with reggae?
So I think that it comes down to like the pocket, really. If the group it most comfortably plays without a click, and they're not able to, if I think that songs have a sweet spot, and then there's a little range outside of it where the song will still feel comfortable before it starts to feel uncomfortable out of tempo. As long as the band can keep it in that range, on stage and live, nobody's going to really care. They're actually going to prefer that it's that way because it's just the way it feels naturally. Where that's where you were saying before, like the click can kind of bring some stiffness to things. But when I was playing with Aaron Cam and the One Drops, the thing about this, I found this app where it would, rather than me like setting the BPM on a metronome and trying to play to that, this app did the opposite. It would listen to the tempo that you were playing and tell you the BPM that you're at, and then it would graph it in real time and let you know if you were level or if you were rushing or if you were dragging. So this was more like trying to keep the plate, the spinning plate balanced or something.
You're staying within the parameters here.
You're trying to keep that tempo balanced. And so what I would start doing is be like, oh man, last night that song really felt good at like 90 BPM. And then we played it at 93 tonight, and it just felt a little too on the front side. So maybe we should just keep it around 90, Yeah. And then every night when you play that song at 90, the whole band gets so much more used to that tempo and that pocket because you found that sweet spot. And then the more and more you rehearse it at that tempo, the more and more the band gets locked into that tempo, and it doesn't waver as much,
Makes a lot of sense.
Well, and I like the idea of the app grabbing what you're doing instead of going, hey, here's what you want. You want 93? Stick to it, buddy. Instead it gives you the chance to go, hey, this is how I think the song should feel. This, and then it picks up.
Sometimes when it gets to the chorus, you want to bump it up 2 BPM to really get in their face a little bit. But when it gets to the verse or the breakdown, you want to maybe sit back and let it settle 2 BPM to where you kind of have that.
See, or you could do Tom Petty's trick and reverse that. On the chorus, drop it down a little bit.
Sure,
The Last Dance with Mary Jane, where, you're suddenly a little softer and a little quieter on the chorus.
But ultimately, I agree with what you said, too, is where the genre is really critical on how important that steady pulse is. If we're playing disco or EDM, electronic music, something like that, obviously they don't want that pulse to waver whatsoever.
Right. Yeah,
but
for sure.
You could have avant-garde jazz where it's like, what is tempo?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Well, and sometimes when you see a drummer, so me and Dennis went over and we saw Rocky Erickson from the 13th Floor Elevators. I forget what place it was, somewhere in St. Louis, but the first opening band had this girl playing drums, and she had like a 3-piece kit, and she just looked like she was barely even paying attention to it, and she was good. But she was just and then there was a girl after Rocky. There was another band, Black Angels, I think they were called, or something like that.
I think that's a girl you're talking about.
No, the first girl was like this red-headed, loosey-goosey girl. The Black Angels girl, if she wasn't playing to a click track, I'd be shocked. Because she was just a machine, But in both styles, there was something to them. But totally opposite styles, but both great drummers. But I walked away from there going, "Wow, both those girls know what they're doing."
Yeah.
But
maybe it was Rocky's drummer.
Dude, no, Rocky's.
Because I only remember 2 bands, but
Yeah,
was there 3?
there was a band before Rocky, then Rocky played, then the Black Angels played after Rocky.
I know we made our way to the front and stood there until it was all over because we wanted to be right in Rocky's face.
Oh yeah,
That was pretty awesome. Yeah.
for sure, man. So there, yeah, but I'm gonna agree with you guys that I mean, genre definitely. The situation is always the boss. All right.
Yeah.
Let's just agree.
Yeah, and our songs, they're definitely, it's a little bit of a roller coaster,
Yeah.
So, I mean, there are some stops and stuff, but it's really kind of a groove,
Yeah.
and just everything kind of leans on it,
Leans
like a
on
domino
everything else.
set,
Yeah.
Sometimes it goes a little quicker, sometimes it goes a little slower. And
I call it the barbershop
Sweet
quartet
pocket.
effect. If one guy in a barbershop quartet goes a little flat, as long as everybody goes flat with him, nobody knows.
Yeah.
And with the band, it's the same thing. Where whether it's timing, whether it's changing the song up in any way, as long as everybody feels that change coming.
Oh, yeah.
Or everybody feels it slowing down here, and we're going to get slow. We'll build it back up in a minute.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
And as long as everybody's got their ears on and listening to what's happening in the room and moves with each other, I love that.
I mean,
part
you
of
play a
music.
wrong note, you got a couple options, right? You can play it again
Sure.
and be like, wasn't that cool? Right?
Yeah, right. I meant to do that.
Or you just like give a really stank look to the bass player,
Like it's
and
his fault.
blame it on him, and you just move on. Everyone will believe you.
That is Sean. He's the drummer from A Brighter Side, and Aaron Cam and the One Drops. We're also talking to Benji Mantle, the band A Brighter Side, and they're going to be playing tomorrow night at Doits Village Inn. You can check them out from 8:30 to 12:30 a.m. and then playing the road to Pointfest on Saturday, along with Ignore the Lights. I think this is Danger Us, or it could be Danger US, because there's like a dot between the U and the S. So I don't
Danger
know.
dot us.
I think it's the innuendo there.
Yeah. And then this has got to
Hey,
be...
no cussing on this show, bro. Family show, man.
The next band's got to be something to do with Pokemon. I don't know why. Oni Yankopon.
I play my Oni Makeup.
I don't even know how to say that one,
I
but
don't know either.
it just looks Pokemon to me. And then this,
you're Americans.
I can figure this one out. Juggernaut Agenda.
I like that name.
Juggernaut.
I like
Or
Juggernaut
is it,
better.
which one is it?
I don't know.
Anyways,
I can't read.
many bands to check out on the road to Point Fest. That's what's kind of fun about it. And A Brighter Side is who you want to vote for. So if you're going to go out and get tickets, and there's a link at cottonmouth.org. So you just click on that link, and then whenever they get their tickets, they want to type in Brighter.
A Brighter Side.
Use code, just code BRIGHTER.
There you go.
And that'll go towards you guys.
Yep.
Yeah,
That'll
see?
like-
Now you know. If you didn't know before, now you know.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
also coming up for you guys, you're playing January 29th, a Thursday night at Doits.
Yeah, that's actually going to be an acoustic kind of setting night. That's, I think, 8 to 10 or 9 to 11.
7 to 11 on January
okay.
29th.
Oh.
That's our normal slot there at Doits. Great place. Everybody tells us
Yeah.
that people actually listen to you play there,
Yeah.
as opposed to
Absolutely.
having a conversation.
Yeah.
So we love those places. And then January 30th, Broadway Oyster Bar.
Yeah, that's a really exciting one. That's actually going to be the day that the album is released.
Oh, wow.
On all the
there you
streaming
go.
That's the
platforms and stuff.
Album release.
Release
all right.
party.
Yeah, and that's
Nice.
the Oyster Bar is our release party. So definitely mark that in your calendars if you.
See, I just have to ask because it's so much fun. Is it a full release? Because I like a full release.
With happy ending.
Yeah.
A partial release just leaves me wanting more.
Well, and I guess the one thing, it's funny enough, like I've been having a tough time, like some like keep calling it an album, but then it's like only 6 songs. People are like, oh no, that's an EP. I'm like, oh, it's like, do I go back? And I was like, oh, our
It's a
EP release.
collection of artworks.
Yeah.
What lands between an EP and an LP?
I guess 6 and 10 songs or something.
Yeah.
Is
An
it,
ELOP.
does it have to do with 45s and 12 inches?
78s.
Okay, yeah.
And then you're going to make it a weekend that weekend. You're going to play Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, right? Because you got a Sinkhole show on January 31st.
Yeah. We just got invited to that with good buddies of ours in Tomahawk.
Yeah, and what is this? Candy Line?
Yeah.
Is that the other one? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and that's what's cool. Like, Sinkhole is kind of more of a metal place, which is ironic enough, But, with this Pointfest gig, too, we kind of cherry-picked all the heavy hitters, as far as what we can, what we feel as far as that. And, so it's going to be an interesting show that night, playing there in Sinkhole.
So, what's the date on the Sinkhole show?
Oh, that's the 31st.
31st there.
So
and
they
then,
go 29, 30, and 31.
What was the place you said after that? I'm unfamiliar. Candy Line?
Oh, no, that was a band. Candy
okay.
Line.
Yeah.
I'm like, where's that at? I've never heard of this place.
It's funny you bring that up, though, because, beginning of the year, all kinds of venues disappear and new ones show up.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know it, but Shea, Maryland is no longer.
Wow.
So we lost that one.
That's a
but
bummer.
Doc Holidays and Cottage Chills is now open again. So,
Well,
And the old Terrace Inn.
Yeah, Clifton, yeah.
They got a new name.
I heard
and
about that.
Wednesday nights, open mic with the Vibe.
Yeah.
Hosting there. So
I heard about that. Happy
they
to
come
hear
and
that.
go. And
yeah.
the Foo Bar is back.
Okay.
So don't
Yeah,
confuse
I
that
heard
with
about
Red
that.
Flag.
See, it's hard not to.
Yeah.
Red Flag,
Two
the Foo
different
Bar, the
places now.
Sinkhole, they're all...
They're opening in the same spot that the old one was?
I'm not exactly
I
sure,
don't
but I
think-
just seen that they got a show
I'm thinking
scheduled
about
Saturday night
Firebird.
with Unknown and Sailing, The Doubted, Light Jacket,
nice.
and Isabella,
Okay.
the Foo Bar. So, and I checked to see if it was the same as Red Flag, because they might flip flop it or whatever.
Right.
But no, Red Flag's still going too.
So I thought
good
they
to
were
know.
just changing names every 6 months for like tax purposes or something. No, I don't know.
We love our original venues. So any of them
Absolutely.
that are putting out the originals, we got to love that, because those are the hard ones to find. And we've got one right here, the Conservatory in Alton, that does the originals, and we love it. And they're going to have Trevor May and the Nomads with the Down Bads on Saturday night at
nice.
7
All
o'clock.
right.
So that's a good one.
What
And,
else we got going on?
Oh
Anything
well,
else?
let's
Anything else you
go
want to talk
through.
about
Yeah,
real
we
quick?
gotta plug our
As we
brothers
wind
and
down here.
sisters out there that are playing this weekend around town in Alton, all mixed up at Fast Eddie's, Case 44 at the VFW in Alton, Lazy Lester. Going to be out at Baker's and Hale and Godfrey on a Friday night, and Lanny and Julie out at the Laux Brickhouse. Pat Jones, here's one that I'm seeing more shows at the Ruebel Hotel in Grafton, doing some single acoustic nights. So Pat Jones playing that on a Friday night. Drew Lance up at George's Pub and Grill in Jerseyville. And have you heard this band, A Brighter Side?
I have not.
They are playing at Doits Village Inn on Friday night. And you guys are going to have a blast there.
Yeah, we are absolutely very excited. We got a lot of family and friends that live around there, and
I'm
it's
sorry.
going to be very exciting. We're good. 'Cause we're good friends with Spilly Nelson and all those guys. So just that whole in Fleetwood, yeah,
Fleetwood's there, like,
yeah. We are very excited.
Yeah. I call those guys friends, but they just won't call me back. Yeah.
Also around town this weekend, we'll go ahead and move to Saturday night. Oh, there's more going
I was
on
gonna
Friday
say
night.
there's
but,
another whole page of stuff going on Friday night.
but I want to hit the local stuff, double wide, as far as local, like right close to us.
Yep.
Double wide and all mixed up at Fast Eddie's. The 1:30, 7 o'clock slots there. And Cricket and the Grilled Avocado's got a show this weekend on Saturday night from 7 to 11 out at Baker's and Hale. And Money Shot is playing the grand opening at Doc Holiday grand opening in Cottage Hills. They are back, and man, they've done a lot of work on that place. I've been watching them because my mother lives near there, so I'm always driving past it and something new's going up.
Nice.
So excited to have them back. We got Rock Mafia down at the Pump House at 9 o'clock and Cabin Fever down at Chico's from 7 to 11, and it's Tony's birthday with Dirt Road Crush at the Ruebel Hotel in Grafton on a Saturday night. We got Rewind at the Grafton Winery, and Lazy Lester doing the pub from 3 to 7 on Saturday. Matt Tall, he's at George's Pub and Grill in Jerseyville, and Skid Roses down at the Mill. I wonder what they cover.
I don't know.
Me either.
Not
Call
Guns N' Roses.
Sebastian up and see if he's going to sue him. He's your buddy, right? Sebastian Bach, you and him used to hang out quite a bit.
There was a time. Once there was a time, man. I don't think he'll take my calls anymore.
We got a songwriters night too on Saturday at the Stagger Inn in Edwardsville with Matt Meyer, Eric Barnes, and Aaron Joe. Going to be part of the songwriters. How about Low Watermark for Ghost? They're playing at a place called Thrillsville in Edwardsville. That's like a comic book shop or something like that does all kinds of weird things like that with toys and different things and throws shows every once in a while.
Crazy.
So probably originals. I would lean toward that.
Kudos to them.
Yeah. So that's just a few. I didn't even dip into Collinsville and beyond, but
Pages and pages of stuff happening over here.
it's a great place to be right here in the Riverbend, the home of rock and roll, as we have figured out on this show. Mr. Chuck Berry started it all, and we know Johnny Johnson was right there next to him with that right hand showing him how to play those Chuck Berry riffs.
Let's just say Chuck is lucky that he didn't have a gig one New Year's Eve, because otherwise
That's right.
he would have never. But if you go back to the day that Johnny Johnson invited Chuck Berry to sit in and play because his saxophone player was sick, we already had Ike Turner. We had
serious.
Yeah, we had, it was already right 20 minutes down the road here in Illinois. Rock and roll was being born, and if you don't know that, you better start thinking about it. This is where it all mixed up and happened, right in this area.
It is, and even before that, over there on them mounds, they were having these massive parties.
Oh yeah,
these native people playing instruments. This is a very special place.
And Ask
Jackson Browne, who wrote one of his biggest hits right here.
Well, and even before the mounds were there were giants roaming around.
Right. You ought to see their tubas.
They partied like. Hey, we're going to party like it's 20 BC.
It's a special place in the area where the river runs northeast for just a smidge.
And so I was down in the bayou down in New Orleans. I took a swamp tour, and I got talking to my captain, my boat. And he, Albert was his name, and he said, "Where do you come from?" I said, "Right where the meeting of the Great Three Rivers is." And he knew exactly. He goes, "That is where the bayou officially starts, and the wetlands start right where the Illinois, and it goes down." And I said, "Well, where the river runs backwards?" He goes, "We are too, just people don't notice it. There's one more hook in the river right down at New Orleans." And he showed me on the map. I said, "Wow."
And there are tales that the Gulf actually came all the way up here at one point.
Absolutely.
So,
well, that's what he was saying, is that Gulf used to stretch all the way up to where Illinois, right to Grafton, basically.
Yep.
And
it was the Gulf of Illinois, is what they called it.
All
right, that was fake news.
I'm going to declare that. I'm going to get a hat made.
The Gulf of Cahokia. That's probably closer. I don't think there was an Illinois yet. Anyways, yeah. We were talking with A Brighter Side. Check them out tomorrow night down at Doits Village Inn, 8:30 till 12:30 a.m. And then definitely check them out. Road to Pointfest in Sauget on Saturday night. And cast your vote by buying a ticket and get them to Pointfest.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
hey, guys, thanks for coming over, man. Thanks for coming down.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Great to meet you finally, Benji.
Yeah,
and I just talk to you on the phone and picture you much uglier than that.
I got one more question.
Okay.
For Benji. Okay, so I'm a huge baseball fan.
Okay,
I forgot about it.
Yeah.
This is Benji Mantle I'm talking to. So how are you related to Mickey Mantle? I got to know.
This is my fourth cousin.
Okay.
Yeah. My grandpa's grandpa and his grandpa were brothers. And, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's it was like probably the proudest thing my grandpa ever had. It was tough when I was young, like growing up playing baseball. There was a lot of expectation.
He sucks at baseball.
I was terrible. So.
They've set the bar way too high.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was like, they're like, "Oh man, we got this mantle on here." I'm like, "Oh no."
Yeah.
Why does he keep holding that baseball hat like a guitar?
Exactly.
I see a future here.
Yeah. That's the goal, is to be the second mantle under Google.
There you go.
Mickey and Benji.
Benji Mantle has a ring to it, so
Yeah.
just like Mickey,
Yeah.
that's a good one.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't. I've actually got Mickey Mantle's disease. That means I don't drink enough. No, I don't know if any of this is true.
He has it too.
Yeah, it runs in the family, for sure.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
We brought up the squirt gun earlier. Once you've been shot so many times, it
Yeah.
just don't matter anymore.
Yeah.
Hey, all right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming in.
Cheers.
Best of luck to you at
Yeah,
the
thank you
road
so
to
much.
Pointfest and with every endeavor in your future. And to you, my man.
Yeah.
Good to
Thank you
see
so
you
much
again,
for having
Sean.
me. Yeah,
I have a strong feeling our paths will cross again
I
soon
think so.
because
Yeah.
we keep seeming to zigzag in and out of each
Yeah,
other in
that's-
different places.
Yeah.
So, man, good to see you again, buddy. Best
you,
of
brother.
luck to you also with Aaron Cam, with Brighter Side, Sean Cannon, and you tell Sean next time you see him, I think he's sexy. He'll know what it means. You say Pigpen thinks you're sexy.
I'll remind him.
Yeah. Hey, thanks a lot, guys. Best of luck, and again, everybody, buy your ticket from A Brighter Side to Pointfest this year,
Yeah.
and don't forget, whatever you're going to do this weekend, make
Hey,
sure.
You know what you forgot?
I forgot to say thanks to Halpin Music
Thank you.
and to sexy ass Matt Van Voorhis from German Insurance and Macias Insurance. So go buy you a guitar from Halpin Music. Go get it insured with Matt Van Voorhis. And as I was going to say,
Yes.
get out and support local music and art.